Hi guys, welcome back to the Southern Scouser. It is match day, it is European competition time, it is Real Madrid versus Liverpool. Massive fixture. You look at Madrid-Liverpool, it's the tie of the round for me in terms of club v club. Obviously you've got Bayern PSG as well, a rematch of last year's final, but the European royalty, of these two teams, what is it, 13 times for Madrid, 6 times for Liverpool winners. It's a clash of the titans and one I'm really looking forward to. I've touched on little bits of previews here and there in other episodes, and I've been a lot more social lately. I've been jumping in other people's channels and podcasts and having some guests on and stuff. So I've really enjoyed the mix up on the channel rather than just me all the time. So really enjoyed a little bit about that, and I'm going to be appearing on Red Sky Pods on Twitter about 7 o'clock, just as the team news drops. So hopefully we'll have a bit more of an idea of who's starting, who's playing, what kind of match we can expect to see. But in terms of now, obviously it's a little bit of a guessing game currently. I'm looking at Madrid's team news, the last lineup that they played. Obviously Sergio Ramos is missing through injury. Varane has this morning been announced that he's picked up COVID. He's returned a COVID test and he's tested positive. So very similar circumstances to Liverpool. Madrid missing their first choice centre back pairing. And I have a look at the Madrid team that did actually beat Eibar, I believe, 2-0 at the weekend. You've got Militao, you've got Nacho, and you've got Mendy in a back three, and then you've got Vazquez and Marcelo as wing backs with Casemiro and Modric in midfield. So yeah, a little bit pieced together. Mendy's really a left back rather than a left centre back. Nacho's always been a kind of decent defender. Militao as well. He's been linked with moves away. He's not always been a permanent fixture in that lineup. And again, Vazquez for me doesn't shout wing back to me. That's a winger playing out of position. So because Casemiro's a good defensive midfielder. Luka Modric is going to knit things together. But yeah, they went with Asensio and Isco at the weekend. So two kind of number 10s attacking midfielders. So not a lot of not a lot of a width going forward other than the wing backs. So it's going to be interesting. I would expect Liverpool pretty much to line up how they finished the Arsenal game. So Alisson, Trent, Robertson, Kabak and Phillips, 4 or so clean sheets in a row with that defence. I'd see Wijnaldum return, Fabinho in a defensive midfield role, and Thiago making up that midfield three. And I see Mane, Jota and Salah starting, because if Jota doesn't start this game, he's come off the bench against Arsenal, basically won us the game. What else does he have to do to start? I mean, Firmino, just for me, offers absolutely nothing now. It's just nothing there. The only way I'd play Firmino is if I had a front four. So I'd have Firmino just behind Jota, Mane, and Salah, knitting things together. We were desperate for a goal, end up with all 4 on together. Because for me, Firmino is not good enough to be the main striker. If we want to play a 4-2-3-1 and have all 4 attackers on at the same time, I think it's usable. But if we've got 3 industrial midfielders with Thiago ticking things along, I think it's a big ask for Thiago to do it all by himself. So yeah, I think Jota, Salah and Mane would be my front 3, and Firmino maybe coming off the bench for one of the front 3 if we need to. So that's my prediction. But obviously looking at Madrid's lineup, there's been certain things where people have trying to work out how they're going to line up. Obviously we've only had a couple of matches since the return of the international break, but the week before, Madrid played Celta Vigo and won 3-1 away, and they had basically a diamond midfield. So Mendy, Nacho and Vazquez and Varane as the back 4. Obviously Varane is now going to be missing, so maybe that's why we'll see a back 5 if they're missing Ramos and Varane. Maybe they're not confident enough to have a back 4 without one of those two in there. Casemiro played in his usual position. Cruz and Valverde were the midfield 2 with Modric basically in the 10 behind Vinicius and Benzema. So they've played pretty much everybody available to them over the last 2 games. They've had 2 different formations as well, but obviously Varane is going to be missing for this game. Do they go with Asensio and Isco, or do they go with more of a Vinicius Valverde kind of feel? It's going to be tricky. I mean, the Celta Vigo match that I'm just reading off there was away. Obviously the Eibar match at the weekend was at home, so you would expect them to turn up. If they play a back 5 at home to Eibar, you would expect a back 5 at home to Liverpool, or certainly I would. So I expect to see a very similar lineup to what they played in their last game. Whether they go with Asensio and Isco, or just one of them and have maybe Vinicius supporting Benzema. But I don't know, a little bit of it doesn't scare me. I look at the 2018 Real Madrid team, the last time we faced them, obviously in the Champions League final, and Cristiano Ronaldo, Gareth Bale, Benzema, 2, 3 years younger. For me, they're not as good as they were. Modric and Kroos are 2 years older as well. Ramos and Varane aren't going to be playing. So I fancy our chances. A lot has been made up about Liverpool's defensive positions, but we've been getting clean sheets galore lately. We've beaten Wolves, we've beaten Leipzig twice with no goals conceded. We've beaten Arsenal 3-0. I think they're more concerned with our attack than we are about our defence. I think we can really get at this team. I think Marcelo and Vazquez are not defenders. A lot said about Robertson and Trent bombing on, but if you've got a Kabak, a Phillips, and a Fabinho sitting back there, with Wijnaldum pretty much supporting both attack and defence, I'm confident Trent and Robertson can push forward just like they did against Arsenal and cause some real problems. If you've got a front line of Mane, Salah, and Jota, I feel we can score. And I feel the away goal in the Champions League currently is the key. That's the main thing that we need to do. When we lost away to Atletico 1-0, it killed us because as soon as they scored at Anfield, tie was over. And once they got another one, it really was. So even if we were to lose 2-1 tonight, if we get that away goal, that's absolutely huge because if they score at Anfield, they're only equaling it up. Once they get a couple of away goals, hopefully they won't, then it's in their favour. But if we can come away with a 2-1 loss, hopefully something more like a 1-1 draw, a 1-0 win or something like that would be crazy good. But we have to score a goal, in my opinion, because we should learn from previous campaigns, Atletico Madrid especially last year, that the away goal is huge. You look at Madrid in the last round, they beat Atalanta 1-0 away. They then beat them 3-1 at home. So even though Atalanta scored, Madrid, it just equalled out the away goal that Madrid scored. So Madrid was still in the box seat at home and managed to score 3 themselves. And as we know, Atalanta are a decent team. We beat them at Atalanta in the group stages, but they beat us at Anfield in the group stages. So no mugs whatsoever. So I'm not underestimating Real Madrid. I just don't think they're at their strongest that they have been over the last 5 to 10 years. So I fancy our chances tonight. My score prediction I'm going to go for is 1-1. I think Madrid are going to score, but I think we're going to score as well. And we're going to come back to Anfield. And my thought process for all these Champions League ties has been, if you kick off the second leg going through, you've got a massive, massive chance of making it, haven't you? Because if we draw 1-1 tonight, we kick off at 0-0 at home in a couple of weeks' time, as we stand it, we're going through. They have to score a goal because we would go through on the away goals with a 0-0 second leg. So even if they do score, we only need to score one and it is heading to extra time. That's when I tend to disagree with the rules, because if Madrid were to score an extra time at Anfield, that still counts as an away goal and we then need to score twice. So they get an extra half an hour to score an away goal, which for me is absolutely insanity. I get the away goal. I get that means that the away teams come out a bit more and it makes the game a bit more interesting. But once you finish the 90 minutes home and away, wherever the second leg is, that half an hour extra time should be neutral. There should be no away goals. It should be, right, we've gone, obviously it's going to be level if you go to extra time. So if it's 1-1, 2-1, 3-1, the next goals are just a goal. If you go 4-3 up and the other team equalises at 4-4, you don't go through on the away goal. It goes to penalties because you've both got the same amount of goals. Why should one team have half an hour extra to score an away goal? It's ridiculous. So I hope they review that rule. I hope not to be stung by that one, just like we did last season. So yeah, that's my prediction in terms of the lineups. That's my prediction in terms of the score. It's going to be an interesting one. Madrid have got a love affair with this competition, as have we. So 8 o'clock kickoff tonight as well. As I said, look out for Red Sky Pods. I'm going to be on there doing a quick preview when the team news drops. I hope I'm right, because I think if that lineup does come through, we can get a result. I'll keep an eye on the other one as well. Man City are home to Dortmund, so that's going to be an interesting one as well. Obviously, that's on the other side of the draw, but Man City at home to Dortmund. It'll be very, very interesting. Will Haaland score an away goal? Sancho returning? I think City will have too much for them, though, personally. And also, if you follow me on Instagram, just down below here, I'm going to be doing a half-time report and a full-time report Instagram live. So jump on there. Me and Tiago's father from the Red Sea Pod, which is obviously a part of me as well. Never a foul umbrella. So we'll be jumping on there for some initial reactions and thoughts, how the game's going, how the game's gone. So jump on there if you want to add some comments and questions. We'll be well up for answering that. But just wanted to quickly do a Southern Scouser preview. That's it from me, guys, and have a really, really lovely day and enjoy the match. Come on, you Reds. I'll see you soon, guys. Take care.